The story opens in stillness. Loak connects to Eywa, and the world dissolves into light. In the dream, he and Netium fly side by side on their ikren, racing across Pandora's endless skies, laughing, daring each other to fly faster. They land together on a high cliff. As the dream begins to fade, and Loak feels himself waking, Netium turns and asks a single quiet question: how did I die? Loak finally tells the truth. He admits he was shot, that he believes it happened because of him. Netium pulls him into an embrace, and gently tells him it was never his fault. When Loak wakes, the comfort is gone, but the guilt remains, heavier than before. Life among the Metkina continues, but the Sully family is fractured. Neytiri grieves openly, her pain raw and uncontained. Jake retreats inward, throwing himself into work to silence his thoughts. Kiri and Spider sit together on the shore, watching the tide. Spider admits he wishes he could connect to Eywa even just once. Jake leads dives to a sunken RDA ship, salvaging guns and ammunition. Loak and Soraya join him beneath the waves, hauling weapons from the wreckage. When they return, the Metkina are stunned. Tonawari condemns the act, calling it a betrayal of Na'vi ways. Rona insists that Eywa not machines will provide, and urges Jake to stay beside his grieving mate. Jake refuses. He warns that the Sky People will return stronger than before, and spears will not be enough. He declares he will never be Toruk Makto again, but he will not be unprepared for war. Elsewhere, Quaritch continues hunting the Na'vi. He demands another ship from Ardmore, who coldly reminds him that he left the last one at the bottom of the sea. Back in the village, Loak feels like the fault line running through his family. No one speaks of it, but he feels it. Jake gives Neytiri a modified bow, urging her not to use her father's weapon. The gesture wounds her. She asks where Eywa was when their son died, when her forest burned, when her bow was lost. Jake holds her and promises his love will never leave her, even if her faith is shaken. Loak introduces Spider and the others to Pyokon, now accepted again among the Tulkun pods. While swimming, Spider's mask malfunctions. Panic spreads until Loak finds a spare just in time. Neytiri watches from a distance, her distrust of Spider unresolved. The sound of horns announces the arrival of the wind traders. Massive flying vessels descend, bringing supplies and news. Jake realizes Spider cannot survive another equipment failure. He decides Spider must return with the traders to the humans. The children protest fiercely, but Jake stands firm. A compromise is reached. The entire family will escort Spider partway, turning the journey into a shared farewell. The traders' leader Pelek is uneasy. Jake has a reputation for drawing danger, but he promises protection. As the ships depart, Loak, Kiri and Spider wave goodbye to the village below. Mid-flight, Loak senses Netiam flying beside him, an echo only he can see. At Bridgehead, Quaritch receives intel, flying vessels, Sully children aboard. As the convoy enters a narrow passage, Spider's mask warns of dwindling power. Moments later alarms sound. The Manquan clan, the Ash people attack. Fire rains down, the traders fight back. Loak grabs a gun, but realizes his radio is gone, destroyed in the flames. Against Jake's orders, he joins the fight. His Ikron is struck by an arrow, sending him crashing into the forest below. Chaos erupts. An Ash warrior attacks Kiri and Tuk, but Spider saves them with a bow. Jake fights desperately. The Ash leader Varang hurls a fireball that tears through the ship. Neytiri clashes with her in brutal combat, taking arrow after arrow but refusing to fall. The ship's balloon ignites. Kiri, Spider and Tuk escape on an Ikron. Jake is saved at the last second. Neytiri is struck again and falls into the forest as the trader's ship collapses and shatters. The survivors crash deep in the jungle. Spider admits his backup batteries were left behind. As they move, they witness the Ash people slaughtering even their own wounded. Loak hesitates when he sights Varang, then fires, killing her pursuers. Quaritch arrives and sees the bullet wounds. The children flee toward a river and are swept downstream. Jake searches the wreckage, calling for Neytiri. Her Ikron answers. She lives. Spider's battery drops to 3%. With no way to reach Jake, Loak decides to return to the ruins. Jake is ambushed by Quaritch. Shock freezes them both. Neytiri mounts her Ikron and flies. Quaritch finds Spider's spare mask and realizes the children are in danger. Jake tells him the Ash people will kill them. Quaritch demands he lead the way. Spider collapses as his mask dies. Kiri enters a trance. She sees a living organism and orders Loak to place Spider among the roots. She forces part of the creature into Spider's mouth. Eywa's energy surges. Roots crawl into Spider's body, encasing him. The effort nearly kills Kiri. When the roots are severed, Spider lies still then moves. He awakens breathing Pandora's air. The Ash people surround them. Varang returns, stunned by a human wielding a gun. Quaritch frees Jake and attacks. Varang captures Quaritch, crushing his neural Q, forcing him to teach her how to use human weapons. She declares she no longer needs him. During a victory dance, Kiri awakens the forest. A massive thorn bloom slaughters the guards. The group escapes through water and jungle. At dawn, allied Na'vi arrive. Quaritch flees. Back with the Metkina, Spider's transformation shocks everyone. Quaritch returns to Bridgehead. ordering scientists to find the boy. Norm later confirms the truth. A mycelial organism has rewritten Spider's body. He has even grown a celu. Kiri confronts Eywa at the spirit tree, demanding answers. A blinding light answers her, and she collapses. Jake and Neytiri finally tell her the truth. She has no father. Grace's pregnancy was a miracle, a seed planted by Eywa herself. Kiri is her daughter. Norm warns her, connecting too deeply will kill her. Neytiri suggests killing Spider if he becomes a threat. Jake refuses. Elsewhere, tulkun are hunted the Navi seas, dragging the gentle giant away for experimentation. The violence of the act ripples through the reef people. Tensions flare when Ronald confronts Neytiri, furious that her daughter spared Spider's life. Neytiri, already fraying, snaps back with a warning sharp enough to silence Ronald, reminding her that grief and rage do not disappear just because someone is carrying a child. Soon after, the tribal council convenes. Their verdict is swift and unforgiving. The exiled tulkun has attacked the demon ship, and his presence will only invite more bloodshed. He is forbidden from returning to their waters forever. No appeal is allowed. Payakan retreats in quiet despair, declaring that his song will never again be heard among them. Loak steps forward, defying the council. He argues that Payakan fought beside them, that he saved Tirea's life, and that the tulkun are being slaughtered one by one. His words echo across the gathering, unanswered. Jake pulls Loak aside before the damage worsens, but the conversation explodes. Jake blames the exile for dragging war to their doorstep, and then in a moment of raw fury, reminds Loak that his brother would still be alive if orders had been obeyed. The words land like a blade. Loak walks away without replying. When Jake returns, Neytiri confronts him for letting their son leave alone. Fear turns to anger, and anger spills into confession. She admits she hates Spider, that his presence cost them their child, and that her hatred extends to humans themselves. Jake, wounded, answers quietly that if that's true then she must hate him too, and their children because part of them is human as well. The truth settles between them. They apologize, knowing division will only destroy what remains of their family. Alone, Loak arms himself, remembering the warnings. When iron touches their skin they die. Tirea and the others find him and refuse to let him face the world alone. They remind him that belonging is not erased by exile. Elsewhere, Kiri guides Spider as he bonds with a sea creature, their connection deepening in ways neither fully understands. Beyond the reef, the colonel arrives with another clan, hunting Spider. When silence greets him, he seeks out the Ash people. He approaches their leader Varang, offering a gift for her tree, a weapon and the promise of many more. The meeting turns violent when one of the colonel's men shoots without warning. Varang responds by taking the colonel captive, forcing him to inhale a white powder that blurs his vision. Through the haze, Varang speaks of fire, of a childhood shaped by invasion. She rejects Eywa as a weak mother, and declares that her people do not kneel to death or mercy. Truth, she says, will burn away all lies. She threatens to devour his heart after he answers her questions. Quaritch admits he needs her. She counters that she does not need him, though she might keep him as a slave. He mocks the idea, then offers something greater, power. He promises weapons, domination, and a world bent beneath her fire. If she wants to challenge Eywa itself, he will help her do it. Their alliance is sealed in ambition and blood. Back among the reef people, Kiri tells Spider that one day he may guide her spiritually. Their moment is interrupted by the announcement of the tulkun calves' communion. Young ones preparing to bond with Eywa for the first time. Soraya later tells Loak that Payakan has been singing again, calling to his birth clan across vast distances. Loak decides to go to him, and the others follow, unwilling to let guilt or loyalty hold them back. Jake wants to pursue his son, but the Tsakik forbids it. The warriors must remain for the coming communion. Reluctantly, Jake stays behind, trusting his son's courage. As night falls, Kiri and Spider are ambushed by the Ash people. They flee, but Spider is captured. Kiri races back with the warning, only to arrive too late. The colonel and Varang have already struck. With the Sully children gone, Neytiri refuses to abandon Jake. Fire tears through the village, and Jake steps forward alone. The colonel demands both of them. Jake raises his hand and warns that if it falls, everyone dies. He offers himself instead. The colonel accepts. The commander orders the extermination of all Navi, but not yet. As long as Jake lives, he is leverage. Jake and Spider are imprisoned. While Jake is locked away, scientists subject Spider to invasive tests, searching for weaknesses, for answers. Spider grows desperate. Escape becomes his only thought. Far from the city, Loak finally reaches Payakan. The tulkun reveals the truth. His clan is gone. Only one survivor remains, wounded, hiding and alone. Before Loak can process the loss, he is ambushed by a swarm of Akula. Trapped in a narrow crevice, he fights blindly with his spear. Just as the swarm closes in, a massive tulkun charges through the water, scattering the predators and saving his life. Soraya and the others pull Loak to safety. Back at the base, Quaritch visits Spider. He thanks the boy for saving him at the shipwreck, and praises his courage, calling it lion's guts. Before leaving, he gives Spider his old dog tags, a quiet, unsettling gesture of connection. Elsewhere, the commander and her officer Mike prepare a mass strike on the upcoming Tulkun gathering. Ian objects, warning of catastrophic consequences, but he is overruled. Jake is placed on display inside a reinforced glass cage, a symbol of human dominance. Quaritch confronts Jake, but Jake refuses him. He tells him the real Quaritch died long ago, and urges him to stop chasing ghosts and actually live. Meanwhile, Neytiri accepts the weapons Jake once made, preparing herself for what must come. Spider finds a weakness in the ventilation system. Disguised in stolen Ash People armor, Neytiri infiltrates the city. Ian climbs into a massive industrial machine, quietly positioning himself to sabotage the operation. Neytiri confronts Varang, demanding Jake's location. Varang slips away, and Quaritch attacks. Neytiri escapes on her Ikran, firing into volatile plant structures. Explosions ripple through Bridgehead. Alarms scream. The city descends into chaos. Using the distraction, Neytiri reaches Jake's chamber and smashes the glass enclosure. Soldiers open fire, but Ian interposes his machine, shielding Jake. Spider runs to them as Ian leads Jake toward an emergency exit, warning him that the Tulkun slaughter will begin in 2 days. A missile locks on. Spider steps directly into its path. Faced with killing the boy, the officers abort the shot. Quaritch closes in, but Neytiri arrives just in time, destroying the craft. She carries Jake and Spider away into the night. They land far from the city. As Spider staggers toward the shore, Jake confesses what he's been avoiding. Quaritch will never stop hunting the boy. Humans will study Spider, learn how to live on Pandora through him, and destroy this world the way they destroyed Earth. Believing there is no other way, Jake takes Neytiri's knife. He calls Spider into the jungle and forces him to kneel. Jake begins a prayer to Eywa. Spider begs him to stop. Jake trembles and breaks. He cannot do it. Neytiri rushes forward. Instead of blood, there is grief. Jake pulls Spider into an embrace. Neytiri looks into the boy's eyes and says, "I see you." Jake swears they will find another way. To do that, Jake seeks the impossible. He enters the sacred mountains and bonds once more with the great Leonopteryx. Tarek rises. Tarek Makto has returned. Jake flies to the Metkaina. Tanawari and his people bow. Jake orders the signal fires lit. Every clan is called to war. Unity is restored, but one obstacle remains. They need the Tulkun. The elders refuse, citing Payakan's exile. Loak, Tsireya, and Oanung step forward, declaring that if Payakan is rejected, they will walk away too. Given permission to speak, Loak tells Payakan's story. Then the survivor appears, Payakan's sister. She carries the memories of their slaughter, the song of a broken clan. She urges them to fight. The elders withdraw to decide. Elsewhere, the commander grounds Quaritch, forbidding him from joining the mission. Kiri meets with Ronald, sensing a destiny she does not yet understand. Jake entrusts Loak with protecting the family and his brother's spirit if he does not return. The RDA Armada advances. Hundreds of ships move to hunt the Tulkun. Across the sea, Tarek Makto and the United Clans prepare. Scoresby's whaling fleet approaches, submarines and harvesters ready. As they near the gathering site, Scoresby notices something wrong. No females. A warning sounds. The sea erupts. A massive pod of Tulkun surges upward, led by the matriarch. They strike the ships with unstoppable force. The elders have chosen war. Sky and sea explode into battle. Tulkun shatter vessels. Na'vi dive from the clouds. Tarek Makto tears through fleets alone. Tanawari and Payakan dominate the depths. Ronald fights with her spear, relentless. Jake and Neytiri bring down gunships, until fire rains from above. Ron and the Ash People arrive with Quaritch, defying orders. Firebombs streak through the sky. The Na'vi begin to falter. Seeing the devastation, Kiri makes her choice. She leaves with Spider, slipping away toward the spirit tree. Loak and Payakan defend their path alongside Tsireya and Oanung. Kiri connects, but Eywa rejects her violently. She collapses, seizing. Spider anchors her, guiding her deeper through the roots. Tuck joins them. Above, Neytiri clashes with Varan in a brutal duel. Below, Ronald is shot. A missile strikes Payakan. He disappears into the smoke. Quaritch orders all guns on Jake. Tarek is blasted from the sky. The survivors regroup on the shore, broken and bleeding. Ronald, dying, goes into labor. Kiri is still missing. Spider dives back into the water and finds Kiri alive, breathing beneath the surface. With Neytiri's help, Ronald gives birth to a daughter. With her final breath, she asks Neytiri to protect the child. She dies. Jake thanks Lochak for bringing the Tulkun to the fight. Then Quaritch and Varan appear with Tuck as their prisoner. Quaritch contacts Jake. Spider for the family. Jake turns to Lochak and tells him he will not face this alone. He needs his wingman. As Scoresby prepares to harvest Amrita, sound weapons torture the Tulkun. Torpedoes lock on. Then the spirit tree ignites. Eywa has heard Kiri. The sea fills with light. Hundreds of Ilu surround the fleet. Kiri raises her voice not in fear but command. Kill the sky people. Torek stirs. Jake's mount lifts its head and releases a thunderous call that rolls across the sky. From the clouds, answering cries return. Other great flyers descend in a sudden storm, tearing into the Ash Clan riders. The battle shifts instantly. What was once collapse becomes momentum. Across the shattered fleet, panic spreads. The general orders an emergency escape, only to be told the ship's thrusters are dead. Far below, the scientist who once hunted the tulkun, who blinded one of Payakan's kin, vanishes into the dark, dragged screaming into the depths by the sea itself. With the ship dying, the general orders an evacuation. Lifeboats launch, survivors flee, but the war is not finished. Deep within the vessel, Quaritch and Varang hold their final leverage, Neytiri her newborn and Took. Over the intercom, Quaritch contacts Jake. Bring Spider, or his wife dies. Spider steps forward before Jake can stop him. With Kiri beside him, he answers the call. He tells Quaritch he's close. Release Neytiri. Take only him. Quaritch agrees. He claims it's over, that everyone goes home. Jake arrives anyway. Father and son reach the ship together. Jake places a hand on Loak's shoulder, and gives him one command: watch my back and strike only those you do not love. Jake cuts through the Ash Warriors toward the bridge while Loak holds the line behind him. Varang hunts Neytiri through the corridors, cornering her until Kiri appears. Kiri reaches out and connects with Varang, overwhelming her with something ancient and terrifying. Varang recoils in panic, and flees. Neytiri is saved. Elsewhere, Quaritch seizes Spider and retreats toward the ship's unstable core. Jake follows. He catches them just as the deck buckles near the magnetic field. Spider breaks free, but the pull is too strong. All three are dragged toward annihilation. Quaritch turns on Jake. Spider fires, striking him in the arm. The fight becomes brutal and desperate, each blow carrying years of hatred. Spider stays close, trying to help, but he slips. At the edge of the field, Spider falls. Quaritch reacts without thinking. He grabs the boy. Now both of them are dangling. Jake has a choice. He saves them. Together they pull themselves clear. Neytiri and the children arrive, weapons raised, but Jake stops them. The moment hangs, silent and heavy. Quaritch looks at Spider one last time. Then he lets go. The magnetic field claims him. Silence follows. When it breaks, it is with breath, with sobs, with arms closing around one another. The family reunites. Not perfect, but whole. As the fires die and the sky clears, the words are spoken softly. The light always returns. Across Pandora, the clans connect to Eywa. The Great Mother gathers her children, living and dead, carrying them within her endless memory. Songs rise through roots and currents, through sky and sea. Payakan is welcomed home at last. His exile ended. In the spirit world, ancestors and descendants reunite. The tree of the Great Mother glows, linking every tribe, every story, every soul. Kiri finally meets her mother. She brings Spider forward, and he is accepted, not as an outsider, but as one of them. And so the story closes.